Okay, so the order of these newspapers are going to start with the Irish Independent, and hugely emotional McGrath calls time. This is Derek McGrath will today outline why he will not return for a sixth season in charge of the Waterford Hurlers. He's given an interview to Eoin Keane, which will be aired on WLR this morning. Don't go Joe, IRFU upbeat on keeping Schmidt beyond 2019. So this is Joe Schmidt, who David Nucifora has been speaking about. Obviously, Nucifora is the major power broker at the IRFU when it comes to a lot of things, including whether or not the women should go to Australia, whether or not the women should have a full-time coach, who gets contract where and when. And he reckons that there's a good chance that Joe Schmidt might stay, but he doesn't know, is the long and short of it. He's kind of speculating, and did suggest, certainly the papers are jumping to the conclusion that it looks like Andy Farrell will be his replacement if he does go, but that the line was, if he feels he's nothing more to achieve, then he'll probably go, which, the only way to have nothing more to achieve is to win the World Cup. But then if you win the World Cup, you kind of want to stay and defend it, do you?
4 years is a long time. I think it's going to be a major decision after the World Cup, even if they don't go all the way, which is obviously a big possibility given our history in the competition. I think it's just a 4 year cycle. I don't think Joe Schmidt's going to hang around for a World Cup beyond next year, to be honest.
It's hard to know. Brendan Cummins obviously has somehow hacked into our servers and has seen our crystal ball, because he says, don't write off Limerick. They're still the best placed team to challenge Galway. A point that maybe he'll find we have some agreement with. Sports Tuesday in the Irish Times here is relief for faltering England as Kane delivers right on cue. That's a picture of Harry Kane's header 91 minutes into the game. And then Nucifora says Schmidt may stay on after the World Cup. That's the Jerry Thornley piece there. And in that, he's Nucifora is defending not sending the women's team, says there was sensationalism around the coverage from people who didn't know any of the facts around it, and generally going on the offensive about their record when it comes to women's rugby, which is actually pretty pathetic compared to a lot of the countries around the world. But Nucifora obviously doesn't feel that. And the other thing that Nucifora said, which doesn't make the lead, which isn't on the front page of any of the sports sections there, is that Jackson and Olding could still play for Ireland, Nucifora. So for the immediate future, there's no thought that they will be considered. They are playing overseas, so at the moment, if you're playing overseas, you're not considered. It's not one for me to say, but I don't think we can make a comment on that. But I don't think anything is ever forever. Who knows what could happen or what will happen? So David Nucifora seems to be rowing back on what was immediately said in the aftermath of Jackson and Olding having their contracts cancelled / fired by the IRFU. In the aftermath of the Belfast rape trial. And the other comments that I just would bring you from Nucifora on this: the players now have found new contracts, so that's a positive for them personally, individually, and everyone just has to move on from that. It was a tough year in regards to that for the players, for Ulster, and for rugby in general. Hopefully we don't go through that ever again. Tough year for the players, tough year for Ulster, tough year for Irish rugby. Maybe the bits where David Nucifora was talking about the complainant in the case were cut from or weren't carried by the newspapers this morning, but there's no mention of that in that. Onto the Times Online. Schmidt, sorry, not Times Online, Times Ireland edition. Schmidt deal is our target before Japan. So this is kind of more specific, that they will actually try and time down before the World Cup in 2019. It isn't money that drives Joe, it's the opportunity to be successful. Coaches like players, they want to win, so I suggest that if he feels that he's done everything he can here, that he may go and seek another challenge. He's done a fantastic job and has cultivated a good set of coaches underneath him as well, so we're just going to have to be patient like we were the last time. And then he kind of confirms that I think everybody knew really that there was significant interest from New Zealand. They went hard at him, and that there's also been offers, big money offers from England and from France as well. Burnout forces McGrath to quit Waterford is Kieran Gallagher's story. The relinquishing of my position comes after 5 thoroughly enjoyable years working with the most committed, dedicated, honest and genuine players to represent our county. And then I'm just looking for the specific lines. During my term, I can honestly say that I held nothing back. I hope to learn from the values and principles that you, Waterford players, stand for. I look forward to applying these learnings into the future in different capacities. And speaking on WLR last night, he said, I'm burnt out because of the expectations I place on myself. So hopefully he finds a bit of rest and relaxation, and then that iconic picture of himself and Dan on Croker after the All-Ireland final last year. Just heartbroken. The McGrath years, this team will be forever ingrained in my heart. And then Harry Kane, obviously, his Houdini act. John McHenry, Brooks Koepka's heroics shouldn't mask USGA's Shinnecock-ups. See what they did?
Yeah.
Shinnecock-ups, that's a good one. And it's actually just a picture of Phil, which we didn't speak about on the show yesterday. Cheating Phil.
Cheating Phil and surviving Phil.
Cheating Phil or genius Phil. Like, so next time you're in danger of having the ball run off the green and you're like in contention, you just whoosh. And where do you play the next shot from? You take a 2-stroke penalty, but if you bang it, is that an extra stroke? So you bang it and it's like, you take a 2-stroke penalty, you win the tournament, and they didn't disqualify Phil. It's like, well, you didn't disqualify Phil. It's the Phil Mickelson rule.
I think we need to give more credit to Phil for the way he managed to strike a rolling ball on a notoriously difficult golf course, and it almost went into the cup. It just brushed the cup. If that had got in, it's like, you know what?
Best shot of all time.
Take the 2 shots back. It's all good. All is forgiven. We were never going to suspend you anyway, but no 2-shot penalty. Well done, Phil Mickelson. Yeah, he should have been DQ'd. No question about it. Like, it's absolutely based on the reputation of the man that he didn't get thrown out of the tournament for this. And the way, the brazen way he approached the media afterwards and was like, yeah, kind of thought about it, did it completely deliberately. I've often thought about doing it before.
I mean,
it was like a kid who's like drawing a crayon all over your lovely wallpaper and is like, do you know what? What I did there was absolutely gorgeous. I loved that little addition to your wallpaper that you spent $1,000 on, and it's beautiful.
If you spend $1,000 on wallpaper and you've got kids, you're a fool. But I see the point you're making. I don't know. Part of me thinks he's already out of the tournament. What's the big deal? And then you realise, well, what if he wasn't already out of the tournament? Oh, it is a bit of a big deal, because if, say, somebody had been in contention and had done it and get you 2-stroke penalty and you win the tournament, because you could do it with Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or if you're like 6 strokes clear and you're like about to, I'll take my 2 strokes.
What if it happens again? The USGA will be accused of double standards if they disqualify a person, and if somebody does it when they're in contention, they have to take more decisive action, and you can't be doing that.
Yeah, and I think you can just change the rules. Like, there can be at the end of the year, Phil Mickelson, fair play Phil, he's very clever, he found a bit of a loophole in the rules of golf, and so we're going to fix that for you. Right, so look, I just want to show you this. It's the UK Times edition. This is the front cover of their supplement. You can forget Euro 96 now, Gareth. It's a bit early for that, lads. It's a little bit early. There's been no penalty shootouts, and not at a semi-final stage. It's like the opening game with the...
It took, I think, 20 minutes yesterday for the commentary team at the BBC to say, this is the best performance we've seen at the tournament.
Right, it was Keown saying that again.
Yeah, it was like, wow, what I've seen here is absolutely sensational.
He kind of got the Kool-Aid. And then the second half he was like, oh, this is terrible, there's no energy. It's like, well, we're sweating up here in the commentary box. Yeah, that doesn't matter, they're footballers.
The back page of the Herald this morning is Captain Kane rescues win. England avoid disaster as striker hits Tunisia double.
Sorry, the other annoying shit that they pulled was Captain Kane nonsense.
Well, I see in the Daily Mail they refer to him as Prince Harry, and it's like, no, there is literally a very famous person in your country also called Prince Harry. You can't go calling him Prince Harry. It's as simple as that. There's
Captain
another Prince
Kane
Harry.
is also crap.
Leash can't wait to renew Max Saga. That's John O'Loughlin there, who says he can't renew his midfield rivalry with Michael Darragh-Macaulay. It's Leash against Dublin in the Leinster final on Sunday. The back page of the Irish Daily Star says Harry Houdini, Kane saves England's blushes with late winner. He's also not Harry Houdini. He's not Prince Harry. He is Harry Kane, Captain Kane, as you might be able to refer to him as. On the back page of the Sun, it's Tunisia, late Kane goal saves Southgate. Bye for now, says Derek McGrath. And Eden Hazard has warned Chelsea he will quit unless they sort things out this summer. This is like the 5th Hazard story we've had in the last month, where he's like, do something, Chelsea, just do something, sort it out, or else I'll be gone.
Yeah, he's right. But he was brilliant yesterday, I thought. Getting kicked and just got up. There's Christophe Terreur had a link to a Belgian newspaper which had like all of the pictures of him on the ground at separate moments, and there's about 10 of them where he's like literally and limping off, and he's got a bandage around his calf in the aftermath of the game, but he got up and he got on with it every time. There's a chance that they're the real deal. De Bruyne is playing in the wrong position, it feels like.
Yes, he is.
But
and he's not happy with it.
No, but like, you know what, it's the World Cup, suck it up.
Maybe, and if they do manage to solve that conundrum around De Bruyne, then they're in a very good place. It does feel like they are a collection of individuals who are all in sensational form, whether or not they're a team who are going to be flowing through the motions and in form as a team remains to be seen. I think the first half performance leaves a lot to be desired from yesterday, despite the fact that Panama were just kicking them around the place. The back page of the Mirror is end of Dacia. McGrath calls time in Waterford after 5 years at the helm, and Captain Kane saves England's blushes. And then a couple of the UK.
I can't stop thinking of Captain Kangaroo. Cigarettes and watching Captain.
Well, you know
Kangaroo.
what? When I see a picture of Harry Kane here celebrating after doing his nation proud, all I can think of is Captain Kane. Harry Kane, the only Captain Kane there ever will be. Happy ending, says The Guardian. Captain Kane delivers England win with last gasp header. And the Daily Telegraph goes with Captain Fantastic. Kane so proud after late header seals opening win for England. Not bad, a brace in your first ever game in the World Cup as captain. It's been a good few years for him. It's going to be a bit better than Euro 2016, I dare say, for Harry Kane.